being here working with you, and I'm more than delighted to be here with you. First of all, let me excuse you a bit for my voice. I was sick, but I really did everything I could to come back to full health. I'm as fit as fiddle again, and I can lead this meeting. For this meeting, I'm so excited because I will be talking about things which I'm really passionate about. And I'm passionate about English, and the meeting is in English, and I'm very passionate about sketchnoting and drawing. So let's start. I prepared a presentation, and I will assist me during the meeting with my presentation. Just a second, let me share my screen. Can you see my screen? Just let me know. Yes, everything is okay. So when I started to think about this meeting, how should I name it? I just thought how to discover your inner artist, because really at heart, we are all artists. And probably some of you think now, no, it's not me, I can't draw. It was me a few years ago. I never really liked art lessons, and I never really thought that I'm very talented or creative. I was just mediocre, like, average. I could draw something, but not really well. But I found that I'm an artist and you are also artists. And after this meeting, you will just say, yes, Marta, you are right. So, and since it's a meeting about drawing, I couldn't start it any other way. I had to draw something. And let me mention that all of the drawings that you will see today were handmade by me. They are just scanned. I'm old, I'm very traditional here. Even though I love new technology, I still stick to paper and markers, and I'm drawing everything and later scanning. So let's begin our journey, how to discover your inner artist. First of all, I would like you to think of a tree, okay? Close your eyes and think of a tree for a second. Yes. And now tell me, you can open your eyes. How many of you saw the picture of a tree or a tree? And how many of you saw the actual word, T-R-E-E? Because I'm almost certain that 90% or even 100% of you saw the tree. Nobody really saw the word T-R-E-E. You all saw various kinds of trees, either drawn or real trees. It happens because we think in pictures. When we think of an elephant, we don't see the word, we see an elephant. When we think of anything, we just see the picture because we think in pictures. That's why this visual, the sketchnoting and the whole things that I use are so popular and are so good. But step by step. So firstly, a few words, or maybe better pictures about me. As you know, I'm Marta. I'm from Poland, and I'm an English teacher. And I've got two kids, a boy and a girl, whom I love to pieces. In my free time, I like to ride a bike. I like to draw and paint sometimes. I'm a teacher, so I have a lot of kids at school, and I really like them. I also have a guardian angel up there in heaven, and it's my dad, who was my biggest fan. I love traveling, and I always use every opportunity to travel. And I think I'm quite creative. Apart from Polish, I also speak English because you can hear it. I also know German, and I'm still learning German because I want to improve it. I like reading books. I'm a big fan of technology, and I also use it at school with my students, all of the presentations and quizzes. I really love them. My vice, coffee. I drink way too much coffee. And now I want to start with the sketchnoting and visual thinking. I think it was like 5 years ago. As I told you before, I was never really interested in drawing, and I didn't think I'm very good at it. But I attended various workshops, not related with drawing, for teachers. And I saw that sometimes I like to draw something, and we had some group works, and I was the first one to take the marker and start drawing. And when I shared it with my best friend, she surprised me with a birthday present. I got an online course with this Polish drawer, Agata Jakubko-Sobocka, and here is information for you. She speaks English and she also organizes courses in English. I attended one of her English courses and she's great. And the other person that I learned from is Ela Curyło, and they are both very inspiring ladies. And of course, you can Google them. I can also share some links with you. And they work in Poland, but as I said, Agata Jakubko-Sobocka also works in English. She is great. So I started with them, and it was 5 years ago, and it just started. I felt that I like it. It gives me a lot of pleasure, and I just for a moment I started to think, how can I use it? Because I started to draw, and for what? To the drawer? What can we do with it? Because I'm very practical. I like to do a lot of things, but I need to feel that they are important. And I will tell you how I used my new skill. Firstly, I want to very briefly introduce you into this visual thinking, because I'm talking about pictures, about the drawing, and we call it visual thinking. So what it is? It is the phenomenon of cognition through visual processing. So we learn better, we recognize everything by pictures. And it is often described as seeing words, a series of pictures. 60% of people learn best through visualizations. And I think most of you can relate to that. I learned by visualization, and it's better for me when I see something. For example, here, if I close my eyes, it would be even difficult to lead these workshops, because for me, it's much better when I see something. At school, my students have various skills. Some of them learn by listening, some of them need movement, some of them prefer to read. But believe me, I tested it. All of them likes pictures. And it really doesn't matter whether they are 7, 15, or even if they are 60 or 70, because I also teach a group of seniors in my hometown. Those are people over 60, 65, and I also draw for them, and they really appreciate it. And they also use these drawings, and they say they are helpful. So it's for everyone. And now I would like us to watch a very short clip. It will be in English, so also it will be good for your English practice. Just let me know, if you can hear everything. Yes, it could be heard. Can you hear? No, you can't hear. Okay. Okay, I will maybe see if I turned on the... Okay, sorry, I didn't turn on the sound. Sorry, my mistake. Now you will be able to hear it. Now it should be okay.
Instructions. We all process in.
Yes, it's okay?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's watch.
What is visual thinking? Maps, logos, emoticons, instructions. We all process information in picture form thousands of times a day. And for many of us, when we're thinking hard or explaining something complicated, it feels natural to grab a pencil and express our own ideas in a visual way. Because when you need to give shape to an abstract concept, make the invisible visible and the intangible tangible, pictures have power. They're concise and clear. They make important things more memorable and complex things easier to communicate and comprehend. But visual thinking is about more than just pictures. It's about the journey we take when we make them. When you make pictures part of your thought process, amazing things happen. And you don't need to be an artist to do it. The act of putting your thoughts into a simple drawing gives them clarity and focus. Pictures force you to decide what matters. You have to edit and prioritize, leaving only what's relevant and useful. They open a door onto what's in your head and put it where others can see it, understand it, and help you refine it. And once it's there, you can make connections and combine ideas that would never have met on a page of text. You can pinpoint problems, hazards, and holes, and plot your course through them. You can see your ideas from a different angle, get a new perspective, and push your thinking places it would never have reached had you not reached for that pencil. Scriberia, the home of hard-working pictures.
So we can see it's much more than just drawing simple pictures. It's really, it makes your life easier, believe me. So from this visual thinking, we will go to sketchnoting. So the thing that I mentioned at the beginning. Sketchnoting is just taking notes in pictures. And in Poland, I think last year, one of the leading sketchnoter, Agnieszka Jachenek, she published a book. The book is in Polish. I don't know if you speak Polish, but the book is in Polish. And this book shows how students could create their notebooks in sketchnotes. So now in Poland, it's very popular. And a lot of people try to create sketchnotes. And there are a lot of people who organize courses about it. Sorry. In sketchnoting, where can we use sketchnoting? If you are sitting now there and wondering, okay, what is it for? How can I use it? We can use it at conferences, and there is even a job. It's called visual recorder. It's a person who, during a conference, draws everything. So if there was a person standing behind me, this person, and for example, this Agata Jakuszko-Sobowska, whom I mentioned before, she does it. She would be drawing everything that I'm talking about. And then the very big poster of the whole meeting is created. And so everyone after the conference, you know how it is, you spend there 5 hours, after the 4th hour, you don't remember even the beginning. But when you take a look at the poster, you see the most important things, because it's impossible to draw everything. So we are choosing the most important things. And even when I was talking about myself, you saw the picture, the drawing, and it was so easy for me. I'm always afraid that I will forget something, but I was just looking at the drawings. I was going one by one, and I didn't forget anything, because I told you everything I want to mention, because the drawings were so easy. If it was written, it would be much more difficult for me, because I would have to talk and read, and it's much more difficult. And when it's a drawing, I just see bike, and I know, okay, I wanted to say that I ride a bike. I saw this, and so it's very easy. They are also used during work meetings, when almost in every company they have flip charts on which they can write. Classes in school, in a moment I will show you how I use it at school, sporting events, and many more. Drawings can be used everywhere. Like virtually everywhere we can use our drawing. So what is this sketchnoting? How we create it? Sketchnoting involves frames, so simple containers, which you just draw, and inside you can put the most important things. Letters, you can write them like this in capital letters. You can also use something that I started using a bit later, which is brush lettering or calligraphy. I first started with sketchnoting, and I always thought that my handwriting is very, very bad, really. And if you saw the notes that I even take, even like here, I wrote something down. It's not nice. It's not really nice. But when you see my calligraphy, you will say that my handwriting is beautiful, because most people say it like this. And I learned it, really. I was in hospital with my son because he got sick. Now he's better. Everything is okay. But it was 2 years ago, and we were really bored, both me and my son. We were bored there, just sitting. And I thought, oh, I have to do something. And I thought about calligraphy. So I bought an online course, and I finished it. My son was my helper. He assessed my work when I wrote something. And again, it's how it started. And now I use calligraphy all the time. And whenever I write an invitation or a simple thing in my notebook, and anyone sees it, they are like very impressed, and they say it's really beautiful. You can see that the next thing used with sketchnoting is people, and you can see how I draw people. If any one of you thought I draw beautiful sketches with shadows, and you know that people look like they look in real life, no, I don't do it. I draw simple things, just round head, square body and thick hands and legs. Sometimes when I use some attributes, for example, when I draw myself, I add, long blonde hair and glasses and stuff like this. In sketch notes, it's important to limit the colors. 2, 3 colors, and I will show you why. You will see it in my sketch notes, because the less is better, really. If something is too colorful, we can't concentrate. And even a few years ago in Poland, it was very popular to put a lot of posters in classrooms, because everyone thought, oh, it's so beautiful. There are so many posters, the students can see them. And a few years ago, everyone realized that if there are so many posters, students get distracted, because they look at this poster, that poster, and they don't look at the teacher. They don't pay attention to the lesson, because sometimes it's really better to have this minimalistic, look. And it's the same with the sketchnoting. You will see it. In sketchnoting, we use very simple drawings. You can see my bulb. It's very, very simple. We use emotions, so simple drawings, and arrows and lines. Everything like this is used in sketchnoting. So what's the goal? If you are sitting now and wondering, okay, but what's the goal? Why should I do it? It's additional work for me. But as a teacher, I can talk as a teacher. My main goal is to teach something. So if I want my students to remember, if I want them to learn, I use sketch notes, because they are easy for retaining information. And when I draw something, even sometimes on the whiteboard, they immediately pay attention. And I think it will be quite interesting if I add that I teach in High School of Arts. So all of my students are artists, and they paint beautifully, not like me. They draw beautiful paintings, drawing, sketches. And sometimes it's really fun when I draw my sick people on the whiteboard, and we all laugh. Sometimes I draw something and I ask them, do you know what it is? Because it doesn't look so good. And we all have a laugh. And it also makes the lesson more interesting, even for them. Sketchnoting and general drawing encourages critical thinking. And, it helps to bring out creativity in everyone. And I know that since I started using sketchnoting, I became much more creative, because now I look for inspiration everywhere. And sometimes I see something and I just take a photo or a screenshot, because I think, oh, someday maybe I will use it. So what is a sketchnote? Sketchnote is when you combine handwriting with visual elements together. It's a sketchnote. In sketchnote, we use symbols, icons, handwriting, visual elements, and shapes. And here you can see my handwriting in calligraphy. I think it's a bit different from the thing that you can see here, which is my normal writing. And I also did it, and I learned it. And I also, when I saw it in the past, I thought, oh my God, it's so beautiful. How can people do it? It's too difficult. It isn't. It really isn't. And as with everything, practice makes perfect. So if you try it and do it every day, or even a few times a week, you will learn it, believe me. So here I will show you some of my sketch notes. Those are the things that I prepared for my students. They are all about English, as I'm an English teacher. So the first one is about question words. I wanted to present question words for my students, and I tried to draw how many, how much, and show, for example, how many is about numbers, countable. How much is about quantity. So I drew glasses with water. Where you can see that with where I use the point, like we use it in Google Maps. And so it's about the place. Sorry, with how long I drew like rulers. How? By car, by bike, on foot. When? Calendar. What time? So we have a clock. Why? We have a question. What with who? Boy or a girl or a boy? And they are very universal. Here, we are all from different countries. We don't speak the same language. Okay, I'm talking in English now to you, but even without it, if you saw this thing, you would know it's about place. If you saw a boy or a girl, you know I'm talking about people. Here I tried to teach my students comparison of adjectives. So I showed what should you add with short and long adjectives. This note is about future perfect. And you can see again my very simple sick people. And this is king, so the guy with ing ending, to show my students that we have to use will have been and ing added to the verb. And sometimes when they just forget the form, I tell them, look at the sketch note, just look at it. And when they see it, they immediately, okay, it's ing. Here we've got past simple. Some of the things here I written in Polish, but you can see did as an auxiliary form. You can see either ed or ate, went, so irregular verbs. I think even for you, not speaking Polish, it should be quite clear what I'm talking about. Here with possessives, because my students always have a problem when to use my and where my. So I draw my book, but it's mine. Your dog, it's yours. And now it's very clear and easy to understand where to use it. Here I was presenting Frances with love, like, and joy, because my students often forget to add again this ing form. And I use the emotions, love, like, don't like, hate. It's very easy to see. And here we have here are some more with present continuous, present perfect, conditionals. There are, you can see, sorry, passive voice. And here is the first sketch note that I prepared for my seniors, because I taught them the months, colors, and numbers, and they were supposed to fill in those blanks. My name is, they should write it, how old they are, where they live. And it was the first thing that I prepared for them. Also, those two things were prepared for my seniors. We were learning to be and have got, and I did it like this. And I also drew a diploma for my seniors. When we finished the first year of teaching, I drew something like this for them. And this year I started in September, on the 4th of September, we started school. And I just prepared this little drawing, and I gave it to all my students just to say hello, I'm happy to have you in my class. And they glue it into their notebooks. So on the first page of their English notebook is with this, and it makes me extremely happy that they have it here. And here is a simple card all about me. And here is something that I would like to use with you for a second. As I told you, I'm using, I'm also learning German, and I'm trying to improve it. So I can relate to you because you want to improve your English and you are here, and it's great that you are here. And I'm also trying to learn, improve my German. And it's a sketch note that I drew to help me with my German. So I asked myself, what should I do to improve my German? And it's the same question. You can ask yourself, what could you do to improve your English? So the first basic thing is to revise basic grammar. And I'm sure you did it. Then we have to enrich vocabulary. So learn some new words, expressions, and you can do it with Professor Cortin and his Instagram, where he is teaching us every day some new vocabulary with his quizzes, and I always take part in them too. Speaking practice, and I think it's the most important. So you are doing it now, attending this course, taking part in speaking club, or even being here. You are with the real language. Maybe today I'm talking more, but during speaking clubs, you are the ones who are talking. And I can tell you that my German really improved very much when I started to speak German. I also have some speaking partners with whom I communicate, and it's really good. I really feel so proud of myself when I talk with them and when they understand me. And the last thing is immersing in German. So immersing, it means surrounding yourself with the language. So I think it's something that you all do. Listening to podcasts, watching YouTube, being on a course, reading, just becoming interested in the language. So it is my sketch note, and here is it's me with my perfect German. I'm on the way, it's the way, my way to improving my German, and you are on your way to improve your English. And now, I talked so much, and now I would like to encourage you to draw. And don't be afraid, it's just for fun. And I hope you all will take part in this very simple exercise. So what do you need? You need a piece of paper. It can be anything, really. It can be even a newspaper if you don't have anything at hand. Just a piece of paper and a pencil. Or you can take a felt tip pen, or even you can take a pen, whatever you have at hand. Just those two things would be needed. And I hope you would like to just try and draw. So are you ready to try and draw? Yes, great, very nice. So, and maybe you are wondering, and if it goes wrong, what will we do? Don't worry. There is the thing that I love the most. It's the eraser. And it's my best friend. Whenever I always start drawing with a pencil. And if it goes wrong, I use this little thing, erase it, and start again. Just these are our friends. Yeah, I can see that everyone is ready. So let's start. I will give you some instructions, and on the screen you will see what to draw. And I won't tell you beforehand what are we drawing. You will have to find out. And I hope you will have some fun, and you will say that you are artists. After this exercise, you will discover your inner artist with me. Let's start. Sorry. So draw this funny shape. Start with this funny shape. Now add something like looks a bit like a heart. Add this thing. Now add those two round pieces. Add little ears. Add whiskers. Now draw a line from the bottom up, halfway of the. Add a little butt in the middle. And I think you all can see by now that we drew a beautiful cat. Somebody asked about the link to draw. I don't really know. What's the link?
No, Bilal, you have to draw. There's no link. You're drawing.
Yeah, it's just handmade. Maybe did you draw it? How did it go? Maybe someone wants to share. It's a bit blurred. But I hope. Oh, it would be great if you shared your. Oh, it looks a myth. Professor is a real artist. Could you show it a bit? Oh, beautiful. Oh, amazing. Can you? And I will tell you, it was the first thing I drew during one of the workshops. And I really felt, oh my God, I can draw. Was it difficult? No, you just have to try. You just have to try. And believe me, I started the same way.
Yeah.
And if something goes wrong, we can rub it or we can just throw away the paper. And I can hear in your voice that you are smiling. You are happy. So you can see that
Thank you, Marta, for the instruction.
This drawing really makes people happy. Really. And it started with me the same. I just started for some simple things. And I talked about the colors, and you could see through all of my sketch notes that they are very simple, and I don't use colors in them because too much color would kill it. Really, with those sketch notes, it's important just to convey a message. So there is a message, how to create present simple, how to create this. Here in this card, you may see it, that I added a bit of contouring. So I took, I will show you later my markers, but I took this marker and just take a look here at the whiskers, and here I just use it like just to add a bit of contour and hence the effect, and it looks really nice. And I also use it with all of my drawings. So we drew. I'm so proud of you and so happy that you wanted to take part in this exercise. I'm very, very happy. So now, if something went wrong, no problem. You can try again. Courage, people, courage. I really destroyed so many papers, and I thought I can't do it. And in a moment, you will see some of my work that I do now, which are really much more complex, but it's like it came with time, with practice. I really, for me, drawing is a very therapeutical exercise. When I'm very tired or sad or happy or whatever, I really like to draw. And I will tell you how I use my drawings also. So now another lesson for you, visual alphabet. Because this drawing that I'm talking about, it's not this, Picasso stuff or very, very Salvador Dali. No, I'm talking about basic drawing. And with our sketch notes, we have a visual alphabet. And this visual alphabet consists of really 5 things. It's a square, triangle, circle, line, and dot. And with these 5 things, you can really draw probably everything. With those 5 things, you can draw everything. Take a look here. I drew a house, and I used, squares, like a rectangular shape here, triangle. Okay, here I added this fluffy thing, but it's like this. Here I drew town. Again, rectangulars. It's also a rectangular, but I made it a bit in this way, not the straight line. I drew the word because I want to give the word to you. So I drew the word with a circle. Here I created a very simple helicopter. Take a look. Did you ever think that you could draw a helicopter in such a simple way? A bike. I never could draw a bike really, because I thought, oh my God, it's so difficult. And here it looks like a bike. I know it's simple. I know that many things, a real biker would say, there are no brakes, okay, it's just a visual presentation of a bike. I'm not an artist who draws a very real life things. There are just simple things. I think if I ask anyone present here, what is it? If I ask my 3-year-old niece, what is it? She would say it's a bike. And sometimes I draw with her, and when I draw something, I ask her, what is it? And when she says, Auntie, it's a house, Auntie, it's a helicopter, Auntie, it's a bike, I know that I drew it well because she recognizes it, and it's the most important. And here we've got a bulb. So again, square, triangle, circle, line, and dot. Visual alphabet. 5 things that and you can try. Can you draw them? I'm sure you can draw them. So if you can draw those 5 things, you can really draw anything using them. Sometimes you will adjust, sometimes your circle will become maybe a more ellipse-like. Sometimes your square will be more rectangular. But if you can draw this, you can draw anything. Believe me, because I can draw almost anything. Maybe not everything is so beautiful, but we are not here we are not aiming at drawing beautifully. We are aiming at drawing simple things to be understood by others. So, and now, where to look for inspiration? Here are some of my suggestions. I don't know if you use this Pinterest, but it's like a well of inspiration. There are so many inspiration. I have an account there and I go through Pinterest almost every day, and you can find a lot of things connected with drawing, simple drawing, with cards, with sketchnoting. Just see for yourself. Social media, Instagram, Facebook, I don't know if you use them, probably yes. And there you can find a lot of inspiration. Two Polish ladies that I talked about, they are there. I found them there. A lot of things that I do, I found online, on social media, and also books, various books. Here is another book in Polish, it's Visual Notes, another very good Polish book. And I'm sure, I'm using a Polish book because I live in Poland, but there are also many English books. I could even think of them. And if you want, I can share it with you. So look for inspiration online. And now I would like to show you some of my drawings. So sketchnoting is one thing. I have a special notebook, and I just prepare those sketch notes for my students here, and later I scan them. So it's sketchnoting. You can see not many colors there, just contouring, because it's about learning. But after sketchnoting, I became interested also in simple drawings. And here I will show you some of them. And in those drawings, I often use play of words. So I often use English, and I try to, sorry, I will just, is it a book? 101 Small Ways to Change the World? On the, we have it on the chat, maybe it's the book title. Okay, so here I will show you some of the drawings, and I will also show you some of the play of words that I use. For example, in the word unbeatable, we all know that it's the English word, it's written differently, but I wanted to use beet as the vegetable. So I wrote unbeatable and played it like this. Here, let's stick together, stay positive. I love to see you smile. Are just simple drawings. I like to draw them and send to my friends. Most of everyone that knows me expects to get something from me because I really like it. For example, here, you are totally my gem. I'm using an English expressions. When we say that something or someone is your gem, you really like it. And I drew gem. Rooting for you, it's another drawing that uses this play of words, because here we know that vegetables are like carrots are root vegetables, they have roots. And rooting for somebody means that I'm cheering on you. And my students before exams, they got this picture from me, this drawing, because I'm rooting for them. I'm keeping my fingers crossed for them. Let Your Light Shine is a drawing which I prepared for a company that I work with. They asked me to draw something for them, and the company has lighthouse in its logo. Here you can see I'm using again play of words. Be and be is the verb, but be is an insect, and I drew an insect and wrote be happy. Again, play of words. It should be you are super cool, but since he's a cook and he's cooking soup, so we've got soup here. This one is I like you a lot, but we've got I like you later. You are really attractive. I'm playing on the fact that it's a magnet and it's, attracting everything. So you are really attractive. Here, there are some of the cards that I use for various occasions. I rarely send only wishes to people. I also draw something for Christmas or for birthday, or to wish someone good luck. I draw something. Here is another one for my students, rooting for you before the exam. And I like to start the day with have a nice day, and I'm sending it to people. Or here we've got popping up to say hello, which means, I'm just coming to say hello. And here we've got popcorn. Popcorn is popping. So it's popcorn. The love of my life, coffee. And a lot of pictures are about coffee. Coffee, teach, repeat, and it happens every day for me. Coffee, teach, repeat. And again, safe travels. When someone is traveling, I'm sending this one. Here are another two for the company that I work with. Life is a journey, enjoy the ride, and a little scooter here. And so I showed you some of my things, and now I will tell you what do you need to start. As with everything, we need to buy a few things to start. I'm sure you have a lot of markers or things like this at home, but they are not good enough for the things that I do. And I will tell you why. You need special markers because the markers that I use by kids, for example, they won't give you the effect that you can see with my drawing. So I will just tell you a few things. Don't go into extremes. You know, you don't have to buy. I have 100 markers probably by now, but I've been doing it for 5 years, and I'm like, and now it's my big hobby. But I started with just a few things. So if any one of you would really like to start, what should you buy? So you should buy a notebook because, for example, here I have it's a paper, like a paper used for copying things, and it's very thin. And you can see I used the markers here, and you can see they are going through the other side, and so this paper is not good. When I draw on a on this special paper, I will show you a drawing that I drew on this special paper. For example, the bee. Look, it's not going. Oh, you can see it now. The other side is clean because it's all about the oh my God, it's all about the paper. The paper can't be too thin for the special markers. It's paper weight. You can see here on the, it's 190. This normal one is about 50, I think. So this one is 190. Such a block like this, such a notebook like this, it has 20 sheets, and in Poland it costs about €3. So it's not expensive. €3 for 20 sheets. It's not expensive, and I use it all the time. I also have this one, and here you can see it's 250. So they are even thicker. And I also have a bigger one, but I rarely use the big one. It's for me this size is the best. It's like the best. So buy one notebook, but just remember to check here. It should be the paper weight should be 180, 90. It could be 150, but check it. Then you have to buy pencil and then erase. You have it at home. You don't have to buy it, but you should buy a felt tip pen. In Poland, we have the Pentel ones, and they are very good. And look, they look like this. And what's important about them, they don't blur. So if you use them and later you color, they don't blur, so they stay black. Important to buy a good felt tip pen, and you should buy a few markers. My favorite ones are these, Winsor and Newton, and they are watercolor. I have also them with alcohol, but though they smell a bit, you can when you can smell the alcohol, and they are very strong. So I prefer these one, watercolor. And to give you the price, for 10 in Poland, you would pay around, oh my God, I have to count it in euro because it will be easier probably for you. 15 euro. It's not maybe very cheap, but I've had those 10 for over a year now, and I really draw a lot, and they are as good as new. So they don't damage easily, and so it's good value for money, really. It's better sometimes to buy something maybe more expensive, but good. And to be honest, that's it. Some people also use watercolor paints. I have very small ones. They costed €1. And because I really don't like to paint with paints, but if you want, you can also try it with paints, very cheap. And that's it. You don't need anything more. Don't go into extremes. Notebook, marker, and just 2 or 3 colors to start. And you will just see, do you like it? Do you want to do it? Or maybe it's not for me. And just to sum up our meeting, why should we use icons and symbols? I hope I convinced you that they are very good, but why should we use them? So let's go one by one. They are unique. There are no two. Even if I like to draw this bee, and I've never ever drew two same bees. Everyone is unique. They are all different because I can't draw identically. I'm not a computer. So if you get a bee from me, you can believe it. It will be a unique bee only from me to you, because even if I draw another one, it will be different. I can't do it the same way. One language, it's the thing that I mentioned before. Even here, okay, we have this beautiful English language here, but even if we started now to speak our native languages, okay, with native languages, it would be a problem. But if I drew something, for example, if I drew a cup of coffee, you would all understand, okay, coffee time. And if I drew, I don't know, school, building, you would understand. And maybe, oh, if I drew myself in front of a whiteboard, you would understand, oh, he probably works at school, even if I spoke in Polish. It's one language. Those drawings are universal, whomever sees them. They are simplicity. And it's the thing that my students love the most. When they get a sketch note from me, because, you know, either I could give them a very long note, I could tell them write down, and I could say present simple tense is used then and then. Remember, in third person singular, you have to add. I could tell them everything, and they will be bored to death by the end of my speech, and they wouldn't remember anything. But when they see my sketch note, they see, okay, here as, here this, doesn't, don't. It's so easy. Drawing really makes things simple. Happiness. And we all experience the happiness with the cat. You all smiled. You all were so happy that you drew a cat. Pictures are used for over 30,000 years. Think of ancient Egypt, and what did they have on the walls? They didn't have letters. They had drawings, and we can understand them, because if they wrote something in their language, we wouldn't know what they drew. But since these are pictures, we can see that they drew some people, some gods, some animals, because they were pictures. So even when someone finds this picture long after my death, they will know, oh, she could draw a bee. They are memorable. And I think that if I talked about myself at the beginning without the drawing, you wouldn't remember much about me. But since you saw the drawing, I'm sure that if I did a short test, what do you know about Marta? You would remember some things. You would remember the bike that I drew, maybe my two kids, or maybe the flags, German, Polish, English, or maybe the kids at school. You would remember more, but only if you heard it from me. Fast communication. Sometimes when we want to convey a message and we don't have time, we can just draw something. And now think even of our phones and on our communication on the phones. Do you use emoticons? Do you use the simple small drawings? Do you send smileys? I do it all the time. And if you wanted to invite me for a coffee, even if we didn't speak the same language, if you sent me the little icon for coffee, I would understand what you want. And if you send, the clock and something, we would understand. So the communication is very fast. Imagination, really, these drawings, they can boost our imagination. They can enrich our imagination. We become creative. So here it's creativity. And the last thing is energy. You can see how pumped up I am today. I'm so happy to be here. I'm really very, very, very happy to share with you my big passion. And so it gives energy. After our meeting, I hope you all will sit down and maybe draw a bit and just think how fun it is. And I know that Professor created a link in our group, speaking, and you can ask me any questions and use this place if you have any questions about the materials, because I showed it very quickly. If you want to find out anything more about the book, about this passion, or just chat with me, feel free to write there. I will be more than thrilled to answer your questions and just to get even any feedback from you. How did you like it? Maybe I inspired you. And so just do it. We will also add the presentation there. I think we can do it. And remember, if it goes wrong, you can do it again. You just can do it again. You can erase it and you can try again. And that's it from me. It's like time flies by, 55 minutes like this. Maybe you have any questions. I will stop sharing my screen. And if you have any questions, just ask them.
But while you're thinking of a question, let me share my screen and show you where it's in the platform, the Speaking Club platform, under grammar and language. If you press the grammar and language button, there's an entry. Well, there's something for music, but then here you can make a comment or ask Marta any question you want. She is in the community and will be happy to respond. So once again, that's in the speaking and language section. So any questions you have, you want to ask her, you're welcome to.
Hello. Can I ask you about?
Yes, you can.
Speaking Club, yeah. Maybe I think better thing if we create WhatsApp group, and in WhatsApp group we can give you our questions. Maybe, yeah, it is correct.
Okay. She and I will talk about that. I'm hesitant to give out numbers of people, and also we have a lot of different groups. Not everyone uses WhatsApp, but Rustam, write me a message and we can talk about that.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. Yeah, I get it.
Bilal.
All right. Any questions? I have a question. How often do you use these sketches in your classrooms?
I would say almost every lesson when we have some grammar points, because I have a lot of them prepared. They are scanned on my MacBook and I just print them out. And instead of giving like a note, a written note, all of my students know that for my lessons they have to buy glue, because there will be a lot of gluing. Because I don't want to lose time for giving the notes and writing. I prefer them to glue it in, and it gives me such pleasure when I go through their notebooks and I see the things that I drew for them, that I prepared for them. So I would say that every week somebody gets something. Sometimes even I give the same note a few times, because you know how it is with students. They lose them or they forget about them. And it's always good to remind them that something like this exists. And I think Pinar also had a question. I'm not sure.
Thank you so much, Marta, for amazing presentation. It's so inspiring. Thank you. But I would like to offer a counterpoint. I am joking. It's from the last class.
Pinar, very good.
You beg to differ. That sketchnoting is good.
We talked about this phrase, Pinar.
But Marta, I have been thinking how we could combine this our language learning and visual, this drawing, etc. Can we use these drawings to memorize some words, for example? When you were explaining things, I just draw a piece of things here, if you can see. For example, the word, the teacher word is a giant size of Coca-Cola, and the verb is the colossal. And the little guys are saying, oh, this is a colossal cola. So with this way, maybe you can memorize easily the verbs, how we can use these things to
I use it with this.
I use it
with this with this play of words, when I, you know, play with words, and for example, I remember that I used the word, we have fries, French fries, and I wrote fries, and I wrote Friday with Y, you know, not Friday the correct way, but with Y. And I asked my students, okay, what's wrong here? And they were like, oh, okay, it's Friday, but it should be written differently. So I asked them, what does fry, F-R-Y mean? You know, and we could learn about some other words. Yeah, and you can even draw simple pictures and write beneath them, write the English words and just memorize. For me, it's much easier to memorize things which are written or drawn. And there are so many picture dictionaries, I think they are Pictionaries, yeah. Why? Because we think in pictures, it's so easy to remember the picture, much easier than to remember the words. So you can use it, you just play with it, just have fun. And like with sketch notes, my students, they remember this king guy, you know, with this ing. When they say like a sentence, I am seat, I say, remember about the king. And they're like, oh, the ing form. We often use it. We have, you know, some of the things that I use with them, some of the, where I just show, or sometimes I draw the king on the whiteboard, and I just point to him and say, oh, you forgot him. He's important. He's the king. Yeah. So you could use it really, and you could have fun. Believe me, I have so much fun with those drawings. And when I, like here, I was so super excited for meeting you. And I really hope you had a nice time for this hour. And as I told at the beginning, combining drawing and speaking in English is like two of my greatest passions. So thank you, Professor, for this opportunity. You made my dreams come true.
This
Well,
is my question.
Yeah,
Marta,
Bilal.
this is my question. It's about to combine the how to say these tools and the learn English.
Yeah, you could,
Professor.
you know, you could.
We can
But if you
use
use
we can use these tools, for example, to learn English, for writing, for example. We can organize a series of session to improve the writing skills or anything. Professor.
Yeah, you could
Yes.
start drawing.
Good
You can
comments.
always.
Do we have any final questions for Marta before we let her go and rest her voice? Yesterday, she could not talk. This is true. So we're not going to tax her. So much.
I'm now, you know, on adrenaline.
It's amazing. Well, if you have more questions, you know where to find her on the platform. She will be checking that page if you want to get in touch, get some advice, maybe get some links on markers or paper or whatever. But I think, well, Marta, thank you for your time. This has been very informative. And I have to be honest, I was inspired. I'm thinking now that I need to incorporate more pictures into my teaching. This was clear for me as a teacher, and I'm sure for all the other teachers listening, if they aren't doing it, they'll consider it very seriously. So Marta, thank you so much for your time. And it was a wonderful.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
A wonderful class.
Thank you, Marta.
Next
Thank
week,
you. It was a pleasure.
So we're going to have an event every week. So check the platform for the events. Marta will be back. We'll invite her maybe for sketching advanced part 2 or something. But thank you, Marta. And everyone have a great evening or day.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Cheers.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye. Thank you, everyone.